That was a bottle of amaretto I've opened because I feel like I'm going to need this. It's the metal cap. Hello, Megon. Before we started, Green God O Stobbs Muir on my way to work, so I thought I'd drop some cash. Thank you for the £5 donation. Enjoy these streams a bunch. Sorry, only got Celtic pounds. Thankfully, Scottish currency's legal tender here. Thank you for the donation. And to Mazzy May, thank you for subscribing to Trups LP. How is Trups? Excuse me. Oh. So, I haven't... Normally, I write notes. As everyone knows, I would sit down today and I would go through all the sources I would compile over the week for my side of the political recap stream. Not this fucking week. I'm not going to do anything. In fact, I was telling Leona, what I was going to do is say to you, and thank you, Pinkala, for the $2 donation, I was simply going to tell you, go fucking nuts. You've got an hour. I'm just going to sit back and drink and enjoy the show. This is your show now, Trups. Oh, good. Hang on. Some Weird Sage donated $5 to you. Keep calm and carry on. Put it on the t-shirt and stop being late. Yell this part. Oh, Megon. Oh, yeah, stop being late. Okay. To be fair, actually, Trups and I actually might have a solution to that would not hurt Trups. Thank you for donating towards Trups, though. It's very nice of you. I have you turned up to maximum, so I'll go on Discord and turn you up. Oh, you're at maximum anyway. Speak. Oh, hang on. Sorry, I know what's wrong. I know what's wrong. OBS reset the audio again, didn't it? It fucking did. Speak.
Yeah. Hello.
There we go. Sorry, guys.
So my whole intro and nothing even happened.
Do you want to start again? Hang on, hang on. It's all good.
I'm fucking here.
There's your
I'm
intro,
fucking
everyone.
here. We're talking about the election. Shit's fucked. Okay, right. Back to that. So 3 days past the election, we have no clear president-elect. Great.
To be fair, we all knew this would happen because mail-in ballots take a lot longer to process.
Not necessarily. They don't have to. But yes. The bigger issue is that certain states had created rules that basically extended the ability for mail-in ballots to arrive to be counted. Citing Pennsylvania, for example, that it had to be in by 5 o'clock today. Nevada had to be in by the 10th. And North Carolina had to be in by the 15th.
I have to semi-fundamentally agree with that, but okay.
So because they gave such a wide range for these absentee ballots to go in, that's the other reason why they... But minus Pennsylvania, they all have to be postmarked by the 3rd.
1 second. Steel Cowboy, thank you for the $5 donation. Take a swig for me. Well, I have my shot. Hang on. Yes.
And Aaron Cognition, all these states are going by postmark because they think people are too stupid to mail things in on time. Everyone except for Pennsylvania.
Based on the gullible sheeple involved in all of this, I'm inclined to believe there's some truth to that.
Also, let's be honest real quick. I mean, all right. Y'all are adults, right? I'm an adult. Meg's an adult. We have to do things on time, or bad things may happen. Like, you have to pay your bills, for instance,
Mate,
right?
I get so triggered when people aren't on. Not this. In general, I'm always early. Everything early. Not everything.
Yeah.
99.9% of everything early. Bills,
Right.
Money's always there for it. I will not fuck around. I can't. It fucks me off.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Yeah.
honestly, like, you have a certain responsibility. I know a lot of people from the left really hate that word, responsibility. But you have a responsibility to perform your civic duty, right? It is November 3rd is the date of election. if I were to do, if I were to have done a mail-in ballot,
Mm-hmm.
I would not have sent it in on November 3rd. Because I would have gotten it before November 3rd. I would have sent it in probably before November even started, probably somewhere in like October.
Right.
Right? That's if I were doing a mail-in ballot. I didn't. I was a big boy, and I went to a socially distanced voting my local precinct.
I'm very
Cool.
proud of you.
Yeah, I mean, well, little sticker.
Aw.
I always have to give the sticker, man.
It's like a lollipop.
I wish they gave lollipops. That'd be
It's-
awesome. It's like
Hey,
it's like going to the bank.
It'd only be creepy if they had Trump and Pence written on the lollipop and you had that in your mouth. You know what
No,
that means?
realistically, it would be like it would be like a Trump Pence keychain and a Biden lollipop.
You'd be sucking off Biden, though.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
I mean, but it's creepy because that's what he would give to kids. Get it? It's a pedo joke.
Allegedly.
No, not for me. Maybe for him, not for me. He's creepy, dude. Anyway, so you have a responsibility to do this in on time, right? Apparently, people are not expected to do things on time anymore because here we are, 3 days after the election, and votes are still coming in, which is it should be really, really uncomfortable to anybody. If I phrase it in that way, that should be concerning.
Right.
We have a constitutionally established date for elections, right? And as of right now, here we are. There are votes coming in past election day.
Thank you, Pincalo.
Some of which... I'm sorry, go ahead.
I voted 5 times for Biden at a poll in Toronto.
Yes, those Canadian ballots.
I just want to say, for the sake of it, Trups isn't being salty because of what is being the result so far. He's just pointing at a issue. I do tend to agree with Beth when it comes to waiting for these votes to come in. I find it rather... I don't... Because I'm British, we don't do this. It's so weird. It doesn't sit with me. But it doesn't sit with me because we have a very different system. And he's not being salty because of the result, I promise you that. It's more, this just doesn't look right.
It's not necessarily even the salty of the result. I'm salty at the process. I'm salty that this is what we've... Like, I knew it was going to happen. But I wanted so badly it not to happen. Right? I wanted it so badly to just work, like the system to work. Now, anybody, if I phrase it in such a way that I'm saying, hey, look, I expect a government-run system to just work, you understand why that's so fucking stupid to say.
Thank you, America, for the £5 donation. Notice
Thank
me,
you, America.
We are the centre of the world, or whatever you wrote. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. Read the super chat.
This is Trump's cut of the Soros check for the vote. Oh, thank you. Thanks, George Soros. It's terribly bizarre, and I know they're not being found. They're coming in. They are being counted after the fact. I mean, counting makes sense after the fact, but the fact that they are arriving. One of the biggest complaints about mail-in voting was a chain of custody. Anybody who looks at police investigations or has any knowledge of police investigations, even in so much that the any fucking NCIS or CSI show you may watch, the chain of custody when it comes to evidence in a case is extremely important because things can change when those things change hands.
Yeah.
If I know that Officer Peters took the suspect's weapon and filled out all the required paperwork, put it into an evidence locker, and that evidence locker is under 24/7 surveillance, and nobody came in and out or touched that weapon, I can have reasonable assumption that that is exactly the same weapon that Officer Peters took off the suspect. if I tell you that Officer Peters took it, put it in a Ziploc baggie, then put it in a brown paper bag, and he carried it around, he put it in a warehouse for a while, and then wrote his name on it, picked up that bag, and then moved it over when the court case happened, you don't know if in that warehouse anything changed. The point is that you need to be able to establish a chain of custody from point A to point B. If there's many points in between there, we have a problem. These things are intrinsic in mail-in ballots. And they will happen all the time. Because Beth, Trump is going to lose, cry about it. I'm not going to be the one crying. Ironically, the Democrats have voted in, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. The Democrats have voted in a man against integrated busing and schooling because it will create a, quote, racial jungle. You voted in a VP as a former Californian attorney general who withheld evidence in order to keep prisoners in prison for longer to exploit their labor. Honestly, I voted for an asshole.
Don't forget the death row. I just want to say, the argument of the lesser of two evils doesn't apply here.
No, it doesn't.
I would say my issue has always been who the candidates are, and people. And you mentioned the Orange Menace. I'll be honest.
Of course you
That's
can.
a really narrow. I take real issue with people who aren't looking at the policies that they are bringing forward, focusing on that person as the character instead of what they bring to the table. I'm not saying Biden doesn't bring anything to the table, by the way, because I'm not paying enough attention at the moment. My focus is on Brexit and the fact we're trying to secure a trade deal with the Americans. But this popularity contest, and by the way, I don't take issue with the Electoral College either. Not against that. Not in the slightest. In fact, I think it's a fantastic system. But what's happened in this election will taint either candidate, whoever wins, and it is going to be Biden. There's no denying that now. It's going to be Biden, which surprises me. It really does. Because that means... there is a good and bad to come out of this, actually. The good is, look at the voter turnout. Republican or Democrat, it's immense. It's amazing. Mm-hmm. It's finally gotten more people engaged in politics. The problem is, that more than likely won't happen next time because of what's happened during this, which many are saying is corrupt. It's yet to be proven. Until proven, it's just a claim. But when it comes to the candidates on the table, you have taken a guy who is backed by big business, who in turn will not tax big business like he wants to, because he has to keep them on side. And you've chosen him, a guy who can't finish a sentence, over a guy who is loud, abrasive, abusive, and solely because that's deemed unpresidential. I find it very silly when I'd rather focus on the politics instead of the character. The character Trump brings to the table is insane, but he's not pulled any of the triggers anyone said he would pull. It is absolutely ridiculous that for the last 4 years, the Democrats have obsessed over getting rid of him and failed. They impeached him on no evidence and did it strictly down party lines. And we know this because we talked about it. We went through the Mueller report. It is insane.
What's really interesting to me is the differences between the person Trump and the caricature of Trump. And you know the caricature because it's in every political cartoon. It's it is the image that they have pushed out.
Can I just stop you again?
Yeah, go ahead.
For the donation part, and I'm going to address one of the comics that annoys me. I'm getting plus 179 on my plus minus when Biden is 25th. That's the thing. By the way, Biden might be a great president for his term. He may well be. And Beth, he built a damn wall and it fell over. He built part of a wall and a part of it fell over. Carry on. And Obama golfed a lot too, so don't try me with that shit either, please.
I mean,
no offense,
you could be more presidential like Obama and spend more time bombing children in the Middle East.
Actually, that's another thing. People will shit on Trump for what he is as a person, forgetting here what he accomplished in the Middle East. Yes, okay, domestically, maybe coronavirus really didn't help. First 3 years, though, I'll be honest, looked all right. But that peace being attained, recognition of Israel, is a massive deal, and people don't seem to understand this, along with working with North Korea. That's a massive deal.
The Democratic platform is anti-Israel and pro-Palestine.
Right? Oh, and Titiana, it's worth half a good
and-
breakfast out for you. Enjoy those eggs. That's very kind of you. Thank you very much. But I'm not trying to. I just want to say to Beth, I'm not targeting you or bullying. I promise you that. I don't know. I'm English. I'm seeing this from my perspective of your popularity contest clearly doesn't work anyway because it's just a pantomime. The problem is, and Andrew Wang is quite Andrew Yang. Sorry, Yang.
Andrew Wang.
I don't know which one he is. I can't remember. I'm sorry.
It's Yang.
Thank
It's
you.
Yang.
Fuck it, it's Wang now. He said in an interview, the problem with the Democrats is we never appeal to the very people who we should be focusing our attention on, the workers. Instead, we end up going towards cultural issues that don't help them at all. And he couldn't be more right. And that's what Biden's been obsessing over as well. I'm not saying he won't do well as a president in his first term, because he's going to win. By the way, we are both surprised by that. I thought Trump would win. But
honestly, I don't know if Biden is going to. He's going to win this initial. I don't know if he's going to win any Supreme Court case afterwards.
I'm not sure either, and at the moment it's open to. But I will admit, I mean, no lie. First thing I did was I got a friend to buy me a couple things off the just as memorabilia, just in case he does lose.
Oh, off the store.
Yeah, I've got them sending me a notebook and a pin. I'm going to use it for work.
Nice.
Yeah, I thought so. But I won't be drawn in on whether or not he could survive a term. There are issues there, of course there are, but that's not my concern.
There's always issues for that, though. Even JFK
and Beth,
didn't finish out his
100%.
term.
Andrew Yang was fantastic because he actually addressed the policy, which is why I like him.
Andrew Yang also had unrealistic expectations on how certain things would work.
He did. But I will, and like with the comment with the Democratic Party, he's able to talk about the party as a whole and talk about it honestly. Admit there is a flaw because you're not able to appeal to the, I don't want to say common man, but actually, yes.
Brandon is right, by the way, in chat. It won't matter in the end, no matter who wins this election. It will be viewed as the most illegitimate government we've ever had.
Brandon, you're right, and there's a problem there. Because we English people are in the middle of negotiating a deal with you. And Yang is cringe, I know. Calamity, I know. But at least he says it. And that's the one thing you don't get from others. And that's what annoys me. Do you think the Supreme Court will frustrate his attempts to get into the White House? I'm not sure. That's for Trups to answer, actually, because I don't know.
I'm sorry?
In the chat, Moisky Live, think the Supreme Court will frustrate his attempts to get into the White House?
Depends who you're talking about, him or his. I don't think it will frustrate Trump if he brings good lawsuits. So if the lawsuits he brings are full of shit.
Well, there is one about the some of the evidence provided about the fake ballots, but they were all dummy ballots. I should say, I just want to say for the sake of it, to dear the quartering. You tweeted out, I've got the image kept on our little Moisky News server. Trump won easily, America. Tweeted at 12:13 a.m., 4th of November, 2020. I will, for the sake of it...
He won that day ballot. That part was true. The rest of it, not so much.
For the remainder of the stream, I'm going to put that image on one of the TVs.
Oh, no.
Yeah, give me a moment. I'll get this. Don't you worry, people. I've got you.
And then Biden. I don't know. Here's the thing. Right now, Cyrene, we have a Supreme Court that is full of originalists, meaning the original intention of the Constitution. I've gone through this last time. I think that if the challenges to fraud come up bunk, the Supreme Court will do nothing.
There you go, people.
I don't think they will stop Biden's transfer of power, and I don't think they should.
No, I don't think so either. If Biden wins, he wins.
If there's no proof of fraud, you're fucked.
Thing is, I mean, it won't happen, but I'll be honest, and I said this to my sisters, we were having dinner yesterday, and we talked about this, and I said, it doesn't matter if Trump loses because in reality, he won anyway. Not just in 2016, but now because he's still proven the whole point. The whole point about career politicians and corruption in politics, a faulty system. He managed to walk in as a nobody in politics and win. And he did it against somebody who was ultimately corrupt. And he's doing it this time, and there are calls of corruption yet to be proven. But it's all stacked against him because everything he's tried to do, the Democrats have... No offence to anyone who's a Democrat, but come on. The childishness over the last 4 years, and then to claim magnanimously now they're the grown-ups. It's astonishing. The lack of... And by the way, the smugness in Pelosi is going to be through the roof. Yeah, it's astonishing.
Right now, my favorite argument, because I've been arguing, obviously, the entire time, right? My favorite one right now is when I bring up that there are allegations of fraud that deserve to be investigated because we can't have any questions, right? If there's an allegation that X county was in fraud, okay, let us investigate that.
And yet 4 years ago.
Well, I mean, this is just like...
Yeah, what I mean
is a voter fraud thing, at least it's tangible.
What I mean is, unlike 4 years ago when everyone was saying this was Russian interference...
Well, see, now that's where I was going with this.
Sorry. And Calamity...
I'm saying that we should investigate this because I don't want there to be questions.
That's what I would rather.
If it's proven wrong, it's proven wrong. If it's proven true, then we have something to look at, right?
I 100%... To address Calamity, there's plenty of proof. Look at poll. Is that is that Reddit or 4chan or something? Because I don't know what that
4chan.
is.
4chan / poll.
I don't know if you... I don't... Look at I don't know how to. I'm a boomer.
Well, right now, Georgia actually just hired on the same lawyer that defended Nicholas Sandmann and Kyle Rittenhouse.
You mean the guy who's just been sent to, was it Wisconsin or something for shooting the killing the kid of Rittenhouse? Has been.
I mean, yeah, he's got posted bail, but the actual criminal trial hasn't happened. He just was basically he failed the hearing. The judge said, all right, we're going to carry through with this case, and now we're going to have a criminal trial about it.
Thank you, Okie Native, for the $5 donation. I blame the rest of you. I drew in a gentleman's sausage and bollocks in the presidential slot on my ballot. Duly noted. Thank you for the donation. And as Quadrang said here, Trump won easily. America.
I hope somebody saw that and giggled, actually.
Kanye got 57,000 votes if memory serves.
I think that was just one place.
I think it was I think it was, yeah. Well done, Kanye.
I think Wisconsin, if Joe Jorgensen plus Trump would have pushed Trump over the edge and beaten Biden. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that. That was good. Bye, Beth. Thank you for being here. I don't think anyone's butthurt because this is genuinely fascinating. But if there is anyone butthurt,
yeah, no, I'm not. Yeah. I'm not butthurt. I'm trying to respond in kind.
I think it's important. I know there are people who now just want to say, get over it, just transfer power. But no, for the last 4 years, Trump had to deal with this with the Russian nonsense all the time. There were cases constantly going on about this. It has to be done properly. And it may impact Biden's presidential, term? Yeah, it might do, but it won't impact him really because he has a job to do.
Well, you know what's interesting? I was mulling over this thought while I was, getting lunch earlier today. I thought, wow, thinking about all of the years of investigations and impeachments and all this collusion stuff, I hope they're ready. I hope the Senate and the House are ready. Because I don't think that... Because a lot of establishment Republicans retired and were replaced with more populist Republicans.
Mm-hmm.
I hope they're ready for the same shit thrown back at them. Because they've started it. And for the people who basically started playing dirty games, I'm worried that now they're going to see what happens when the other side plays dirty games back. And I hate that this is where our fucking system has gone. But at the same time, I kind of love it.
I love it, to be honest, because this, yes, I would not deny, and I will always say this outright, I wanted Trump to win. Because to me, that for me, in the UK especially, is so much fun. But actually, what has happened here is amazing. Because I believed Trump would win quite handily. but clearly he's not going to win. He might get some victories in the Supreme Court, you never know, but ultimately Biden is going to win. And that's interesting because if you go back to the old politics where he pushes progressive ideas, he still has to... Go on.
If Trump wins in the Supreme Court, Biden may not win.
Okay, that's a fair point. Scousefish. If Dems are confident that it was a clean win, they should welcome any investigation into fraud to put the election result to rest. I agree with you, actually, because then it would actually, if it supports Biden, then it would legitimize his term and not make them look bad. And I just think...
right?
I want the right person to win.
Sorry, I'm gonna keep ranting if I keep going.
You are well within your rights, so this is your country, and I fully support that.
Okay. The thing is, like, if I were playing by the rules, and I mean completely playing by the rules, and I saw 68+ million votes coming from my candidate, I would have every fucking camera and window and door open and say, "Look at this shit."
Mm-hmm.
Because I would want to rub it in their faces so damn hard. Right? Yeah. I would want it to be the most transparent. I would want there to be a site for every fucking person. It's like, oh, we just tabulated another one, and another one, and another. Mm-hmm. I would want this to be fucking updating every goddamn second.
Yeah.
However, this is not what's happening. There are pollsters that have poll watchers who have been not allowed access to the actual count at polling locations. There have been some poll watchers who have been kicked out of the polls.
Right.
There have been instances where poll watchers were lied to, told to go home, and counting continued without them there. This is where impropriety happens. Yeah. This is why Trump supporters don't believe it for a second.
Right.
Because you played these games.
I want to address a few comments in the chat. Coded watermark on ballots prove fraud from Winston Smith. Is that true?
Maybe.
Okay. Mel Klump. I hope Justice Barrett recuses herself and the Supreme Court ends in a tie. First of all, after a discussion with people last week. Right, she already has. The Supreme Court should, based on the circuit number, be increased to 13. Not going to discuss that fully, though. There's someone else. Some are acting as if, it's from Crestovana 23, some are acting as if the right will riot, the group known for almost never protesting and gathering in large collective groups. There are obstructions happening in Arizona, I believe, but it is, and I've seen the reports, mostly, the majority, resoundingly peaceful. Explain how 138,000 votes, Calamity. Explain how 138,000 votes show up and how they were all for Biden. Explain how dead people can vote. So I don't know about that one. I had heard rumors, but I'm not sure.
So apparently the 100,000 was the...
Because that's a lot.
I believe that was a error that then they fixed afterwards. Allegedly, according to the head of elections in Pennsylvania.
Which,
here's the problem with that. The head of Pennsylvania elections really fucking hates Trump. So, and I made this comment with my friends who tried to pull that shit on me, that counter argument that I just provided to you. And I said, why would I believe somebody who fundamentally disagrees with our president being president as a matter of fact? When they say, oops, it was a mistake. Was it? I don't know if I believe you. You sound like you're a bit of a bitch.
And Kinoff, why are these swing states having so many errors? Yeah, actually, this is a damning statement of what the system is now going on. Calamity, go on my channel's community and bring up the post of the graphs from Michigan and look at the blue line. Calamity, I will go to your channel.
Actually, I'm really happy about that because, fun story, every time I reposted something on Twitter about either poll watchers saying that shit's gone wrong or evidence to say that things aren't working, miraculously, all of that information is now from accounts that were suspended. or that that tweet has been deleted. Big fucking think, eh? Canadians.
Canadians. Right.
Like, I'm sorry. Justice Barrett recused themselves on the Pennsylvania issue, but not on anything else so far. Correct. And you know what was really unfortunate about that? Because she recused herself, they allowed unconstitutional things to occur in Pennsylvania. Even Chief Justice Roberts voted in favor of or against the Pennsylvania Supreme Court.
Trups.
Fuck, he was what?
On our Moisey News server, I have put the image that Calamity is referring to that's now on the stream.
Whoa!
Screen.
Holy shit!
Can you explain the lines that people are seeing, please?
Okay, so the one in Michigan was the one
Top left.
Yeah, top left was the one that, if I remember correctly, they had the issue with. I did not know that this happened in every state.
I would, by the way, make this bigger, but I actually didn't have this set up for images. It was just going to be Trups going off on one for an hour and a bit.
I will point out that it looks like Nevada had the same problem, but I also remember that Nevada didn't release updated numbers.
Yeah, Nevada's bottom left, by the way. I'm going to link in the chat Calamity's community tab so you can check it out yourselves. Carry on, please.
I will point out that Nevada did have basically a stay on all reporting until I believe it was noon on Thursday, so 2 days after. So that is where those jumps come from. Now, obviously, the circled ones, those are the weird ones.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's really, really funny is ever since a whole bunch of this information came out, I believe like it was the day after. Yeah, the day after Election Day. I haven't heard shit about Michigan or Wisconsin again. On my Twitter, on Facebook, nothing.
Michigan and Wisconsin are the top two, by the way.
Right, the ones with circles on them. I haven't heard anything about them on Twitter since the day after election.
To add to
they
that,
were called.
I have a friend in Michigan, and she was WhatsApping me messages, audio, terrified of this. But I've heard nothing from her in days since all this has gone down.
You should message him again.
I tried. I got nothing. I'm genuinely surprised. I think they might be happy now because, what's going on? It benefits. I believe she's a Biden supporter.
What's really, really bizarre is really a lot of the things that I have posted on Twitter. If you go through my timeline, or at least if I go through my own timeline, I'm looking in, and there's a whole bunch of tweet unavailable posts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's 3 or 4 that had videos of people who worked at polls basically saying, no, this is not working. Shit's fucked. We have an issue. That one's gone. This graph is not there. That one's gone. There was another one that I don't remember. What was it? What was this fucking one? Hang on.
Oh, in Crestovana, I support the Electoral College, so I wouldn't want to take away that power from small states at all. Like many did 4 years ago when Trump won via Electoral College.
Yeah.
I
think they were both the same post. I think I had retweeted from 2 different locations the same thing.
Okay, I'm putting this tweet back on the screen.
But it's a really shitty situation that we are all currently in, and I've been screen capping and saving everything. Thank God.
I would also recommend archiving. Go to archive.is and archive everything as well, because then you've got a guarantee that no one can accuse you of manipulating it. I archive everything.
I should have, but I didn't.
I wished I had with Trump with the quarterings tweet. I wished I had, but actually I saw it from Sophane.
Oh.
Who, by the way, Probably. He's still doing. No offense to Fane if you are listening, but I think he's also in that position of let's just get on with it, transfer the power, move on, not deal with the. I mean, it's because he's won. It's just
that's it. That's the thing. It's like it's so easy to tell who's like really happy and who's really not. It's like, hi, I think that there's impropriety. Can we investigate? No. Okay. Why? Because we might lose. Right?
Get rid of the fascists, yo. Trump and Pence, yo.
Well, yeah, so I hate that argument because it's like, yeah, okay, let's get rid of the fascists by, electing the top cop VP. Whatever. Like, that's literally her nickname. Top cop.
Didn't she keep people on death row that didn't need to be there?
Yeah, she withheld evidence.
I'm sorry. But and this is one of the things that really fucks me off is you chose the lesser of two evils with this cop out turn of phrase, but your lesser of two evils while calling the orange man a racist. Unironically, the two people you chose have histories and track records that prove they're racist.
Mm-hmm. Or at the very least, classist.
Very much so that as well.
I think that a lot of racism issues in America actually boils down to classism.
It does in the UK as well. We call it elitism here. Pincalo, the ones that want T9 to abolish the electoral college need to experience the first past the post and party only. Yeah, actually, this is where you've got the electoral college. That's good. I agree with it. Mm-hmm. But we have first past. We have based on MPs that are elected, so it's first past the post.
Right.
So I vote for my MP. I don't vote for the leading politician. And so it's really strange. You wouldn't like our system. You couldn't use our system in your country.
System.
You couldn't use it in your country. That's the problem. It couldn't be done in your country. Because people we divvy the MPs up by population in regions, so constituencies. But that means one vote. Say one constituency has 30,000 people. It's still one vote for a constituency that might have 300,000 people. And thank you for that donation. It's very kind of you.
Also, I love Joel. Apparently, there was a glitch in Michigan, switch from Republican to Democrat. I haven't heard nothing about that. However, it brings me into a nice segue.
Go on.
Because it's along the same lines as, yes, the big tech companies, their algorithms, they're the ones that are censoring people. It's not the people. And I was like, hey, hi, yes, computer engineer here. Question: who wrote the algorithm? Oh, it was you. Oh, okay, thanks. And now everyone else, because I found out while watching your guys's what was it when Sargon and Dankula were both in UKIP?
Yeah,
they went into the fucking what was it, the EU?
Yeah, they did,
and they were trying to explain that. And Dankula said, "I found out that people don't know what the word algorithm means.
They don't know what anything they do with that means. It's astonishing."
Oh, it was just a few hours ago. Interesting.
So I just want to. People mention in the chat it's like mob control. I think in a lot of the cases when it comes to politicians being so disconnected, in the UK it applies as well. It comes down to whether, and it always ends up in our country as well, invariably it becomes a popularity contest about the leaders, but it's not. But it always comes down to who has the most gullible sheeple. It really, and that's and it's I've been using this. I've been using this term all week because it really does come across as that, because you're believing you're taking down Orange Man, but actually you're proving him right. That's all you're doing. So even in defeat, potentially, he still wins. Again, back to what I said earlier. It's gullible, and I'm not saying all Democrats are gullible sheeple, because honestly,
useful idiots.
Sure, but there's gullible sheeple with Republicans as well. There are gullible sheeple everywhere. They are the Matrix. Let's go with that. They're the NPCs. And sadly, critical thinking doesn't come into this. And that's what we've seen so far with some of the comments in the stream. There have been a lot of critical thinking, lots of it. But there's been one or two who have cottoned on and just gone with Orange Man. No offense to those in question, by the way. It's just such a weak position.
What's interesting and what really drives me up the wall about it is that there will be people who celebrate Biden Kamala winning. And then they will not look at politics ever again. They won't care
Casual.
about politics. Right. They are what some people would call, like, certain tourists as seasonal.
Yeah, they're the casual fan.
Yeah.
That's what we say in sports anyway.
And what you're going to eventually see is you're going to see a lot of them not care at all about what happens after the fact because their team won.
Yeah, it's a big failing in your system. It's always about, we must win. Doesn't matter why. And actually, Crest of Honor quite rightly hits the nail on the head. Most people are low information voters and don't do a ton of research. I don't blame them, since there are many people who don't have time to do lots of research on politics, policies, and economics. I 100% agree and understand.
I don't appreciate it, though.
No, I don't either, but I think that's where it comes, and this might sound a bit arrogant, but it comes down to what one is willing to do to ensure that the vote they have is cast right. And I mean correct,
well,
like
more
an
so
informed vote. It's an informed decision. It should be taken seriously.
Well, even more so than that, because that's only a part of it. You have the difference is between, because people are obviously fed information all the time, right? People are fed information by their Facebook feed, by their Twitter feed. On YouTube, we were fed so many ads, so many ads for political candidates.
Yeah.
And we were told this information. And unless you actually cared enough to pay attention, you would just go, oh, X person doesn't like this state. I won't vote for them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Like, the funniest one, I thought, was because I live in a place, and there was a candidate who was accused of using taxpayer funds to send out their promotional material for their re-election.
Right.
I got one. It says at the top, paid for by taxpayers.
Oof.
And then the opposing ads were like, this person wants to use your tax money to fund their campaign. And I was like, they did. They actually, it wasn't like they want to. They did it.
Yeah, there's no thought. To address
that part I knew was true, but imagine if I hadn't gotten that, they would have just been like, that's probably not true.
Okie Native, thank you for the $5 donation. I'm also at plus 217 on the plus or minus for when the new government starts or increases a war or conflict. I should do well. It should do well. I should do well with my gambling. Congratulations, I guess.
I apparently I'm not allowed to do that in this country. Apparently I'm not allowed to gamble on politics.
Oh. Well, I'll be honest. You guys have quite strict rules about what is and is not okay when it comes to politics.
Even gamble in some. I can't even gamble in this state.
Oof. Doxed.
I mean, there's a bunch of states. I'm in a red place. Okay. By the way, fun story. All these places, by the way, that all these like questionable vote practices are going on. Why those places? Like, why Georgia? Why North Carolina? Why Pennsylvania? Why Wisconsin? Why Michigan? Why not Missouri or South Carolina or New Jersey? I mean, probably not New Jersey, but like, why not anywhere else? Is it because it's just too unlikely for somebody to believe that it could swing? Like, people just wouldn't believe it? I don't know. Because I'm trying to figure out, like, I mean, battleground states is one thing, but Georgia hasn't gone blue since 1992. 28 years ago.
Do you think it will go blue?
No, I don't. I mean, not legally.
There are a lot of claims right now about Georgia because I know one or two people there. Fane is one of them. I know he. I think it feels like his. I think from his tweets, I got the. It was inferred that Atlanta was essentially just voting out.
Yeah, apparently Atlanta can change the mind of the entire state. I hate that.
Yeah, people have that. I mean, that's I had this discussion. I made a video a few years ago, and it pissed people off. Because I said I found it fascinating that some cities can dictate an entire state, and people are like, oh, but the rest of it's just dirt. Like, that's not how this works. It's still a big region being dictated by one thing, but then it's the electoral college issue as well. Sorry?
They asked what's the vote breakdown in Georgia.
I don't know enough. You have to ask Trups. Oh, you have asked Trups. Trups is for it. He's good.
I will find it.
I would say for the sake of it, I understand population distribution and all that, and cities predominantly vote more blue. I get that. Not complaining about that because that's totally understandable.
Right now, Georgia's allegedly, according to the Associated Press, with 99% reporting, it is 49.4% Joe Biden, 49.3% Donald Trump.
Yeah, that's...
Ow.
You can't really say it's a blue state, but you can certainly say it's always a swing.
It has some blue pockets.
Yeah.
And that's the funniest part. Because if you look at like the county maps at all these things, my God, it's a lot of red.
Yeah, that's again the population per like constituency counter.
And that drives me insane because then there's another map that happens. It's like land doesn't vote, people vote, and you see the giant like amounts of numbers.
One more thing. Georgia is doing a recount. We all know that. Yeah. But also, I believe military are going to be coming back to cast their votes, and that's about 8,000 people who predominantly, according to a number of articles I looked up before the stream, predominantly vote Republican, although some might not because Trump has clashed with military leaders.
I don't think that any troop. Let's think about this really critically for a second.
You would know this.
I don't think that any military person who is returning is going to vote against the guy who says, "Let's not put you in Iraq anymore." I have a hard time believing that.
Right.
I have a hard time believing they're coming back to vote in person. Lucky them.
Okay.
It's great thing that Trump said, let's bring everyone home, right?
Can I ask a question? Yeah, true. Can I ask a question? The chat are asking about 2016 with Georgia. So was Georgia in 2016 mostly red anyway?
Yes.
I think I knew that because that was like one of those obvious ones. No offense, but I knew, besides Atlanta, I knew it was going to be mostly red regardless.
It went 2,089,104 votes to Donald Trump, 1,877,963.
Oh, fucking no, you don't need... Yeah, the moment you said 1 million, it was over. It was over.
Yeah. Now, the difference is right now you have 2.4... No. It's basically 2.5 mil for each person rounded up.
The voter turnout is phenomenal this time. Because remember last time the voter turnout was like so low.
Now wait, hang on. Or, here's the cynical aspect.
Go on.
Some of these votes are lies.
Well, a recount has been called for good reason. Because there is enough... clearly they believe it enough to pursue it.
But now here's the issue with the recount. And I hate this part too. A recount may not prove it, may not prove fraud, because if in my process, I have faked ballots,
right,
and I have voted for people who often don't vote, which is usually the people that end up being voted on behalf of by people who rig elections. If I'm not a person who normally votes, and there's a vote in my name that was added to the count during one of the Black Ops missions at 4 a.m., bringing in extra votes, how am I supposed to then say a recount is going to save me if those votes have been improperly added or even they've been voted on illegally, basically.
That's a fair point. Skog, the Democrats wouldn't fix an election, just ask Bernie Sanders. Yeah, that's a fair point.
That was mean.
By the way, I would point out that's actually further proof of how utterly elitist and out of touch the Democrats are. Bernie against Trump back in 2016. I was down for that. I would have loved that.
I still wanted that to happen.
They wanted to play identity instead, and that's one of the main one reason they lost. They lost for many reasons. Then this time they've again gone for that identity and are still doing the identity politics thing. They haven't really again Andrew Wang. He made the points about what the party doesn't appeal to, the very people they should be appealing to, and they're still not doing it. So they're going to struggle.
No, and honestly, the worst yet is the a bunch of the folks who are voting for these candidates because they're going to do X, Y, and Z for them.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, these are the people that sold out Bernie under the bus for Hillary, sold out Bernie under the bus for Biden, right? And you want them to now honor the reason why you voted for them. It's like making a deal with the devil and going, all right, where's my money?
Where's my money, man? Where's my money?
And Satan just looks at you and laughs as he's holding your soul in his hand. He's like, what? You don't play this game very often, do you?
True.
Oh,
there was a comment I saw earlier I wanted to read. Where was it? I've lost it already, haven't I? Biden has 264. He does. He's very close. In fact, he only needs, one state?
That's correct. Yeah, Nevada.
UK only referencing as 253 at the moment, but I will gladly accept 264 because I'd been hearing that for the last couple of days. That's fantastic news. Closer to even more news. The only issue I have is, and I say this for a totally selfish reason, besides, trade deal, which if Trump does have to give up the power and all that.
2 minutes for a new Veritas info drop. Oh no, they're going to announce another fucking whistleblower? They already have 2.
Oh, God. Hang on. I'll ask you about that in a sec. So my really selfish issue is we've got a trade deal being negotiated. I want that done because no offense to no offense to those who voted Biden, but I don't believe a deal will be anywhere near as good with him as it would be with Trump. Because he does see it as a business and Biden wouldn't have a fucking clue.
Hang on. What did you just send me?
Who, me?
What is that? Is that voter roll?
I didn't
Is that a voter registration or is that active voters? My fiance just sent me a Excel spreadsheet that has people who were born in 1900. It's 26 lines or 25 lines in this screenshot. And I'm trying to find out if that's an active voter registration, because some people just aren't.
There are rumors of that. I had heard about that on Twitter, but I think some people are saying it's been debunked already.
Some of it might be, but I doubt the rest of it, because voter roll is different than vote cast.
Yeah.
I know Fleckus did a thing that was related to votes cast.
Right.
Now, the one that he did was a person who was born in 1913, who died in 1984, who requested an absentee ballot in September of this year and voted. And anybody can go on the website and put in the same name.
Can I ask a couple questions?
Yeah.
Right. So, you mentioned Veritas whistleblowers. Who are that? What was that about? Project Veritas doing a video or releasing something, and you said there were 2 whistleblowers already.
So the Project Veritas had basically released videos of postal workers who had basically blown the whistle that they were told to either withhold ballots or basically, I believe the technical terminology is perform ballot harvesting.
Ooh.
Okay, so now I understand this spreadsheet that I was sent.
Okay.
So look at specific. I sent it in political recap. Look at specifically line 8. First name Bonita, last name Gibson. Year of birth 1911. Registration date August 29th, 2020.
What? Is this the image you sent me?
Ah,
Okay, well, I'm gonna, for the sake of being the, I'm gonna wait. I know Calamity's referenced a lot of this on poll already. I'm not saying it's not true or anything. I'd want it
that's probably
officially
where
confirmed.
my fiance found it too.
I'd want it officially confirmed. This is what's happened. So I'm happy to wait for the. It's why I want this.
Backdating postmarks to November 3rd. I've also that was also part of the Veritas. That was also part of the Veritas leak. One of them was basically performing ballot harvesting. The other one was marking back postmarks.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not trying to dump on this as if it's not real. I'm more of a. I really want this officially done so it can be proven right. So it can be done properly, not. It's I don't know, because all I can do then is speculate, and I don't want to be doing that. It feels wrong. I don't know. I'd say fair, but what is fair at this point?
Yeah, and apparently, because a lot of people are questioning at this point, is this a concerted effort by, the Democrats, or is this a bunch of people with a standalone complex? Is it the people who are, I'm going to rise against the orange man. I can't let this happen. Destroys votes, creates votes, whichever way. I know there was that lady in Texas who said $55,000 for 5,000 votes.
Mm-hmm.
And that person basically went door to door and had people check off different things. The
Right.
video shows them basically telling them what you want is see, you marked R here. What you need is a you need a rep, so you need to mark this right here. This one, that's not what you voted for, and so they're basically lying to older people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
Trupp says, no, Skog says, would there be a chance of do-overs for states to vote?
yes.
That's a big deal. Because that would
4chan reliable info. Hey, Aaron Cognition, 4chan found a fucking flag in the middle of the goddamn desert using plane trajectory and the sound of frogs.
I'm not going to dump on 4chan. I remember them all too well from my time at university, but that was in 2012. I have not gone near there since.
4chan has lost a lot of its
flair.
Its flair, but that doesn't mean that the sentiment that was 4chan, meaning internet sleuths,
Autism,
is
yes.
that too. That's B. We're talking about other things.
Yeah. No, I would never dump on 4chan. They genuinely, over the years, have done so much good. And that's not saying any of this is wrong. It's just such a difficult position to be in.
Also, fun story about that. 4chan, once upon a time, before the internet broke open into the mainstream, they used to tell you that B is not your personal army. Meaning, if you had a beef with somebody, 4chan wasn't just going to go and harass them. That's not what they did.
Mm-hmm.
Contrast that with Twitter.
Twitter. Twitter, yes. Now,
Weaponized autism on poll is just as strong as it was back then. True. It's just there now. It's not as widespread because they've moved around. Some internet sleuths from the olden days still exist and still do good work. A lot of them probably are working regular jobs too. That's the funniest part.
I wouldn't. I'm not going to dump on I again,
I respect 4chan as the entity, as the hacker known as 4chan. But I get it that their information isn't always reliable. I
yeah, well,
understand.
yes, that's what I mean. This is going to be. By the way, Tracking Bear, I don't think the election will be redone. But the idea of any state might do another vote, it's a possibility. You can't rule it out yet, not until
it has not happened. It is unlikely to happen. However, that avenue is possible.
yes.
It is an option they have. However, it has the potential to cause more issues.
Mm-hmm.
So, there is that.
Okay.
It is a struggle. We are going through it.
You'll get through this.
There's plenty of shit to watch.
Honestly, this is insane. I know others were streaming overnight. Cenk Yuga was having seizures during his. I'm sure he's perked up a bit now because, win. But it's really interesting now. This is a whole different level of politics, and it has to be investigated. We've already said why. You've got no choice. Civil war, it's a possibility. It really is. But I guess it depends on whether or not people care enough to do that.
Horny Horny Hippos makes a very good point. It's unlikely to happen. Going by the rest of this year, it's a sure thing to happen then. You know what? You've got a fucking point.
You got a point. Was there anything else related to the election you'd like to talk about?
Well, here's the good news.
Okay, go on.
Right-wingers aren't going to be the ones looting and rioting in the street because we don't get our way. However, there are dumb people who will do dumb things, but we disavow them. Conservatives, Republicans, they all will likely disavow them because the difference between the conservatives, not Republicans, conservatives and liberals, is that conservatives, by and large, have a more consistent basis of ethics and morals that don't bend as easily with the changing tides. So we'll see. But I know the vast majority, you won't see mobs of right-wingers.
Yeah. Skog is right. If Biden wants to take your guns, to be fair, I give Fane a lot of crap for his politics. But even he said, if anyone tries to take my guns, you're getting fucked. And he's incredibly liberal. It's a case of... the equivalent for us in the UK would be if you try and take our loofahs. Because we don't have weapons. Okay, I actually said this to Leona earlier. On my... I mentioned that I've got a sword. And the equivalent would be if someone tried to take the sword. My response would be, I'm taking your hand. Because it's really fucking sharp. Pincalo,
it's funny.
Thank you for the $2 donation. Not rioting, but Masonic chanting in prayer circles.
Pincalo, I was kicked out of the Masons, so
Fantastic.
Whatever.
Did you try and bring the metric system down?
No, they just didn't like me because I think I had an attitude.
Oh, that's understandable. Okay. Sorry for interrupting you, by the way.
No, it's okay. That's it. Do you have anything else to shill this glorious fuckery day?
Fuck no.
Okay.
This has been a horrible week. I've barely slept because of this.
Oh, I believe that.
I've been sat here worried. I'm like, I don't, because it's so
I haven't
indecisive.
done work at work for a hot minute because I've just been listening to the news.
I've been avoiding all of it because I look at it and it's not anxiety because I wanted Trump to win. It's anxiety because it's so messy.
Yeah.
Never mind. Go on.
But I've got nothing else. So if there's nothing else to show, I'm going to bid you all adieu.
Thank you for the donations.
And yes, thank you, all of you, very generous today, and I really appreciate it. But with nothing else,
I have a shot
good
left.
night, Megan.
I need to do my shot first.
Shot, not a cock. Don't moan into it. What the fuck's wrong with you?
It's so good. It's so deep.
Okay. Good night, Omegon.